Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, I've written an article regarding the science and technology or the saviors of Muslims plus factors affecting development. And this article is based on two themes. I will be discussing the later theme in this video, that is factors affecting development. There are many factors that affect development. They include the following: time. Time is the single most important factor for development. Others include political stability, education, sound economy, and the will to learn and work. Time is the most critical factor of all of these. This is due to the fact that America developed because it had enough time to do so. It developed during a span of 230 years of peace and repose. The Islamic Golden Age, as we know it, prospered in science and technology because it had enough time to do so. Spain was a fountainhead of knowledge in the Muslim world, as it had a huge time span of 800 years to develop. These are the few examples that tell us that time is a requirement for development. Development cannot take place without a sufficient amount of time at your disposal. You cannot develop a nuclear power plant unless you get enough time to do so. Europe also developed because it had enough time to do so. Political stability is the next most important factor. The African and the Asian countries did not develop much because they were not free, unlike the Western countries. These are the cases where political instability led to the stalling of development process. If we have a look on any of the developing or underdeveloped countries, we will notice that they have been a subject of colonialism, imperialism, and political instability at some point in the course of their recent history. America was also underdeveloped when the British had colonized it. So these are the factors that are the most is one of the factors that is responsible for the Muslim world. Countries are because war has been on the countries. Similar economic coalition. At that time, Muslim Spain had some 800,000 volumes of books. France had only 45 of which were Bibles. Development follows literacy. Initially, the Indian civilization was developed as it was educated, while the rest of the world was not. Aryabhatta lived in this time, and then this knowledge was transferred to the Greeks, who developed into the Greek civilization. The Indian civilization then declined due to the wars and forsaking the knowledge. The rest of the world was underdeveloped at this time. Of the Greeks, the Muslims were the most advanced in science and technology because they translated all the books of the Greeks and set up many seats of knowledge. This was the Islamic Golden Age. The Greeks declined again due to political instability and apathy to knowledge. Lastly, the Muslims also declined due to the Crusades and the following laziness of Muslims. Education is important for development. Unless there is no education, there is no development. The above examples that have been given are an illustration to this. The African countries are illiterate. That is why they are not developing. Similarly, any country which has been illiterate never developed. The aboriginals of Australia did not develop because they were illiterate. Similarly, the Native Americans, the Red Indians, also did not develop because they were illiterate. Illiteracy is the single largest problem in the Muslim world at present. We have to fight this menace. A poor country does not develop even if it wills if the will of its people is strong. An example is Afghanistan. In contrast, a rich country does not develop if the will of working and learning is not present. Examples are the Arab countries. A very strong will for the Muslim depends upon the strength of Iman in their hearts. Loss of Iman leads to pleasure seeking and an amotivational syndrome. The most learned Muslims have been from the period of highest Iman. Bukhari, Abu Hanifa, Khwarizmi, Ibn Sina, Al-Biruni and others all were from the period of best Iman. So these are the two other factors that affect the development process. A sound economy is important for development of a country. We need to develop a sound economy in the Muslim countries. This depends upon the private sector. A private sector. Muslims should shun the ideology of getting government jobs for everything. We should set up a sound private sector. This was to do with the economy, and lastly, we should strengthen our iman by following the teachings of Islam, by praying, giving zakat, etc., and reading the Quran, etc. When the iman will be strengthened, so will be the will to work. There will be no amotivational syndrome, and the will of working will lead us to development. The Arab countries have been lagging in development because they have got easy money. Oil which they sell to Western countries gives them easy money. That is why they do not have any will to work. We need to use this money for development, and we need to develop a will, and that will only come when we strengthen our iman. This was the video.